Hey, what's up everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm Manny and today we're going to be pruning Elvira, my Monstera. Let's get into it. So as you can see, Elvira has become very large. Like I mean, it's in the name, monster, right? Right. But if you can see right here, some of the leaves aren't looking too good, and it's just getting a tad bit wild. So that's ultimately what we're doing today. We're just going to control the growth and try to cut it back a bit. We're just pruning. And before we start pruning, let's talk about why we prune and the anatomy of the Monstera. So pruning is not 100% necessary. Plants go through a process. Some leaves will go brown, they'll die off. It just happens. It's part of the natural process of a plant's life. Things like that just happen. That does not mean you have to prune it. However, there are some natural good benefits to pruning a plant, especially the Monstera. It can help you control the growth. It can help you. You can also help the plant get rid of those dead leaves a lot quicker and put its energy towards other places that may need it. Monsteras, it's in the name really, monster. They can grow to be about 10 to 15 feet tall, and if not controlled, they can take over. And yeah, I go deeper into it in the video of the aerial roots and how they can take over other plants and other surfaces and places. So yeah, so pruning your plant for those reasons are necessary if you want to control it. But ultimately, pruning is an aesthetic thing for the Monstera. It's just to help you control the look of it and help it not get too wild. But you don't have to prune. You do not have to prune it if you don't want to. If you want it to grow wild, if you want it to take over, do that. Because at the end of the day, leaves will go brown, leaves will die, but the plant itself will survive as long as you are taking good care of it. You feel me? Alright, so before we get started on the pruning, let's talk about the anatomy of the plant. Starting at the base, we have the node. Now, you never want to cut the node unless you're taking a cutting or you're trying to propagate a new Monstera. Never cut the node. It could damage the plant if you're cutting it just for kicks. Never cut it there. Now, right there, you got the stem, and then you got the petiole, which is what's attaching to the leaf, and then you have the leaf. Now, if you can see right here, those little veiny little openings right here on the leaf, you can see it over here actually. That is called fenestration. Now, what that does is it just creates this cool look for the plant, and that's honestly all I know when it comes to fenestration. That just creates this cool look. It splits the leaf open, and it just looks fantastic. Other plants that do that are apoptosis, and it just most tropical leafy plants do that, and it just looks amazing. Now, right here you have the root, but over here you have what is called an aerial root. Now, in the wild, Monsteras are known as epiphytes, and what that means is that they grow off other structures such as trees, and in some instances known around the country, it is the Monstera is an invasive species for that reason alone. It can grow off other sources and just take over, become a monster. It's in the name. And ultimately, we want that fenestration to happen. That is what we really want to happen. That I think this looks amazing. Like I said, at the end of the day, we're pruning for aesthetic purposes and to control the size, because look at it. It's all over. We just want to control the size of the Monstera. So before you start pruning your Monstera, make sure you have your tools ready. I have my scissors here and my gloves. Those are honestly the two things you need. And when you do use these, make sure you disinfect the scissors that you use to cut your plant, whatever you're using to cut your Monstera, disinfect them, and also make sure you are wearing gloves because the Monstera can secrete a liquid that can cause skin irritation because it's a toxic plant. So just make sure you're wearing proper stuff. So ultimately, what I plan on pruning is I don't plan on pruning like the major small ones because you don't want to prune too heavy. You want to do like a kind of like a 1:3 ratio, honestly. So if you have like a good bit of leaves, you want to cut like maybe like a small portion of them because you don't want to hurt your plant. And also, before we get started here, I want to say make sure you water your plant at least 2 to 3 days prior to your pruning because you want to make sure that the leaves are standing tall and that they're looking healthy, so you know which ones not to cut. So you know which ones to cut and which ones not to cut. Alright, so I'm going to chop this buddy off here because I think it's leading towards death. I don't think it's going to be doing good in the future. It's already browning around here a little bit. It's already browning, so I'm going to chop this off right now. When I do chop, I don't know if this is like necessary when pruning your plants, but I always try to cut in a diagonal. I don't know why, but I guess it's from watching other people prune plants. They always cut in a diagonal. And I never got why, so I've just done it. So I would just say do some research on it and figure out how you want to cut it. Alright. And I'm also going to cut the aerial roots off. Eventually I plan on getting a pole to put in the middle of it, but right now I don't want it to attach itself to any of my other plants that I have. So I'm going to cut those off. And it's not too bad to do that. Like I said, sometimes you wanna keep those. I would say I recommend getting one of those poles, like a bamboo pole or any type of pole that could help out with the growth of your plant. But I don't have that yet, so I don't necessarily need that. Now, pruning the plant is just going to revert the energy towards other places that need it and also create larger leaves and these more fenestrations, right? So pruning can be a good thing. But at the end of the day, like I said, it is an aesthetic thing and you don't have to do this. Like, you do not have to prune your plant. Plants die. Now, if your plant is showing some health concerns, then yes, prune your plant where it needs to be pruned. If it's showing like some like fungal or like some type of like some rotting areas, then yes, prune that part down, repot it, do what's necessary. But again, aesthetic, right? Aesthetic. Don't want to do anything too much. I'm going to cut this big one here down because it's looking a little pale. Now, ultimately, they'll grow back where you cut your plant. It'll grow back, so it's nothing too major. Do I want to cut this big part? No, I want to leave this big one alone. I think I want to leave this big part alone. Though I really want to take a node and like propagate for another one, but at the same time I don't. I think I might do that. I might take this node here. You can't really see it, but let me show you guys. I might take this node right here, just to propagate a new Monstera. I think having a second one somewhere else in case something bad happens to this one, or just in case, I think I want to do that. Let me see here. Yeah, I think I want to cut. Think about that. I might not do that. We're gonna cut some of these small ones down, just to kind of take that area root out. I think we're actually done. I think that's all I want to cut. I want to see these two little small ones grow into something large. If they don't, then I'll cut them in the future. But ultimately, the other leaves are looking all right. Maybe I'll cut this one right here. This one seems to be a little droopy, so I'm just gonna cut this one right here. All right, that one's there. That one should be fine. All right, and yeah, that is ultimately what we wanted to do. We wanted to make sure we cut those off, and yeah, I think we're all set. Elvira's looking good. Elvira's looking awesome. Just fantastic, right? Fantastic. Alright, that is our cutting of Elvira. As you can see, we cut only a few off one, so we cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 2 area roots. that is what we chopped off for the Elvira today. You got your nice little haircut looking all good. Elvira's looking fantastic, guys. And that is the cutting of Elvira. Like I said, nothing too major. Before you prune your Monstera, make sure you do plenty of research on it. Make sure you know exactly how to cut it, when to cut it. Normally, you want to prune it during the growing season, which is normally the summertime, but it was looking a little too wild, so I had to get it cut down. And yeah, I had to, because you can cut it, you can prune it at any time. It's just better to prune it during the growing season, which is like the summer, springtime. Alright, so Elvira's looking smaller and controlled now. I just want to give it a little spray before we end the video up here. Just want to give it a little spray, because remember guys, this is a high humidity plant, so it loves when it is at least a little damp. I got next to my humidifier here, but I need more water in this thing. This thing sounds terrible, but a little spray where I cut it at. And yeah, now it should be good. Now I will do an update on Elvira in the future to keep you guys posted on its growth, and especially where I cut it at to make sure everything is good. Make sure that, you know what I'm saying, but yeah. Alright guys, hopefully you all enjoyed that video of me pruning my Monstera. Remember guys, if you have any tips, tricks, or suggestions that could better me in becoming a better plant parent or a better gardener in general, drop them below. Your help is very much appreciated. And if you have any questions, let me know as well. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace. Alright, so real quick, before I end this video here, I just want to say that in my last video, I stated that what my most important tip to new plant owners is to get a good watering schedule. Completely wrong, and I do apologize for that. Now, I stand by that you should get a good watering schedule, but like I said in all the videos I've made so far, do research on your plant. Some plants absorb water different, some plants don't require too much water. So yes, get a good watering schedule to understand, or like to get a good mental about when a plant normally should be watered. But before you water that plant, fill the soil and check. Don't just give the plant water, because if you give the plant water based on just the water schedule, like if you say, oh, every Tuesday I'm supposed to water this plant, and then that Tuesday come around and you water that plant, but the soil was already still wet, then you could cause root rot. So be sure to check your plant and fill the soil before giving it water. Do research on it, because some plants will say like the top inch of it should be dry before giving it water. Some plants say it should be completely dry before giving it water, and some plants will say stuff like it should be like wet to moist, or like a little damp before giving it water. So do research and fill the soil before giving it water. But yes, I still do kind of stand by getting a watering schedule to understand the schedule of your plant, and like to get a good feel of when your plant should be watered. But fill that soil. Fill the soil. That's all I say. So water schedule, but make sure you're researching that plant.